Good morning, phono friends, and happy holidays. Several people have asked how to make a diamond disc, and they are by far the most complicated molds. So, I thought I'd take this opportunity to show you the extremely elaborate mold that it takes to make a diamond disc. This one is Yes You Do and Hallelujah. It is currently the only double-sided diamond disc that I have available. And as you can see, we have a polyurethane outer shell. That shell supports a silicone mold that's on the inside, the whole point of which is to minimize the amount of very expensive silicone that's required. This is made in 4 pieces, very labor intensive to build the mold. Let's see if we can get it in here. And built into the design, you'll notice the top is cut away from the support shell, and then there's 2 sprue holes. The one is to add the resin. It's just literally poured in. The other is to let the air out. After the resin is poured in, give lots of taps, little massage, and that releases hopefully all of the air bubbles. Then after which the fluid level is allowed to settle, top it off, and then it goes into a heated pressure vessel which will then squish any of the air bubbles. The outer support shell is kept waxed. That way all of these bits of resin that you can see stuck to it can easily be pulled off at some point. All of these bolts, they're here to squeeze it all together to minimize the amount of leakage that happens. There's always some leakage, but the better you squeeze, the less leakage there is. It's also best to have some paper underneath to act as a bit of a diaper to collect any drippage. And the polyurethane that's used to make the disc is a strong adhesive, so that bit that seeps out can really bond things together, which is why everything is kept waxed. And it's also a good idea to have a cheap wood chisel laying around. Okay. This here is the silicone mold that you see inside the support structure. You'll also notice that they're indexed. I like to put a point on one side and a curve on the other, so I always know that they're going into the right shell. Now, this is the expensive part of the mold. This silicone is extremely expensive, and well, it's the only material in the world that can capture the level of detail necessary, so we are going to be incredibly gentle trying to remove the disc from it. When I reach in here, I'm only pressing on the label area. I really do everything possible to not even touch the grooved area. Pushing in, you can feel the silicone flex and can feel it release, and then ever so gently pull out the disc. This was the first 2-sided mold that I made for a diamond disc, and as you may know, the diamond discs have rather delicate paper labels, so this was my first attempt at covering them. This side came out a little better. So now there's a little cleanup. These sprues can then be cut off with a nice set of accurate precision cutters. This will all need to be cleaned up with file or sandpaper later. But look at that playing surface. It's beautiful. Okay, so now we're going to drill the spindle hole, and it's ready to test play. So let's come for a little walk. You can see part of my laboratory. Over here we have the drill press that I always keep chucked with the bit for drilling spindle holes. Okay, so now the disc has been cleaned up, spindle hole has been drilled, also took all the dust off from the cleanup process. We're now doing a little quality testing, taking a look for any microscopic air bubbles. So we're looking at the disc under magnification. Anything that's pressure cast should be free of air bubbles, but it's always nice to check. Air bubbles will result in a loud popping noise and really unenjoyable recording. So we do some spot checks. Everything looks great. So now let's finally give it a listen. I'm just going to pick a random spot and hopefully get some of the vocals.
Hallelujah, help to chill the clouds away.